File item 22 after this. But right now we're on file item, I don't have a file item. File item 12. Ms. Lopez, file item 12. 2091. You may proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. First, I would like to thank you and for you committed still working in this bill with my staff, and I say that I accept the committed amendments. AB 2091 will make sure that schools are providing that individual education plan IEP to the parents in the language that they speak between the 30 days of the IEP meeting, and ensure that IEP is translated by certificate translated. This bill very close, hard, because I'm one of the parents with kids with a special need, and I will share my own experience. From long time, I've been waiting to have my kid translate the IEP. Sometimes not all the parents know the technical words that they use in an IEP, and sometimes when the parents want to make the recommendation, we should have that full understanding of what is going to be our recommendation. And in my personal experience, I have over passing like 2 years. I requested in writing, and I know this is a process, but it's still until last year. It took 2 years to make the translation. So that is not right. It's not fair for the kids. And I know that offered person in the meeting to translate that documentation, but it's not full for that parents that will really want to bring more resource for the kids. And that is my experience, and I've been testified several of my friends when they go to those meetings, there is not quality of translation for the kids. And like say, especially for LAUSD, take too long to translate those documentation, and that is essential for the education for our kids. And with that, I have with me Marta from California Association for Bilingual Education to provide a testimony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairperson and members of the committee. My name is Martha Zaragoza Diaz, and I'm representing the California Association for Bilingual Education and Californians Together. Based upon 2012-13 data, California has a student population of over 6 million students. 9.8% of those students are identified as students with disabilities. In other words, approximately 700,000 students have special needs. Of these 700,000 special needs students, 27.8% are English learners. So they're doubly designated not only as English learners, but also as special needs students. Parents of these students more than likely will not be proficient English speakers. As you know, navigating the special education IEP process is a daunting task for any parent, let alone a parent who does not speak English. For those of you who have participated in the IEP process, you know what I mean, and you know what I'm talking about. The IEP process can be overwhelming and intimidating, even to English-speaking parents. Although interpreters may be available during IEP meetings, some terms, services, or processes may not be accurately translated. As a result, oftentimes, non-English speaking parents do not fully understand what is recommended for their child, nor are they informed about other options and services that may be available to their special needs child. The importance of parental involvement in the development of a child's IEP is recognized and addressed in California's statewide task force March 15, 2015 report on special education. The report states all efforts should be made to inform and effectively support parents who have children with disabilities, and their involvement in the special education process should be expanded. The report also recommends parents should be kept informed of the implications of the IEPs of their child, as well as the courses of study and strategies supporting their child. Understanding what is presented to these parents, is important for them to be able to provide functional, developmental, cultural, and linguistic information that education professionals often cannot find on their own. AB 2091 seeks to meaningfully engage non-English speaking parents in the many decisions associated with their child's IEP by requiring the translation of IEP documents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
We want a yes vote on the bill. Thank you.
Any other witnesses in support?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Ron Rapp on behalf of the California Federation of Teachers in support.
Laura Parr on behalf of the SELPA Administrators of California. We don't have a position yet, but our concerns have been discussed with the author's office, and we do believe that the amendments go a long way. Thank you.
Tanya Zacconi, California Language Teachers Association, in support.
Great. Thank you. Any witnesses in opposition? Any members of the committee wish to comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move the bill. I'll second that bill.
Okay.
But I would
Moved and
like to
seconded.
say that I want to thank the author for bringing this bill forward. As you know, the IEP process is very, very important, especially now. The document that is presented to the parents, especially non-English speaking parents, it could be daunting, just receiving it and trying to understand it. And as you mentioned, parental involvement in the IEP process is critically important to ensure that they understand what their children are learning. But if the information is provided to them, oftentimes they don't have time to read it accurately, even the translated documents, but then oftentimes there are changes being made at the last minute, and if they are not accurately translated, that could be also hindrance in getting the non-English speaking parents to participate fully in the process. So with that, I am so happy that I can support this bill. And again, the parents need to get involved with their children, but again, I just want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. No further comments from the committee. Do we have a motion? Oh, we did. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. You may close, Ms. Lopez.
Well, thank you so much for your comments, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Great. Thank you. Again, the motion is due pass as amended to appropriations. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson?
Aye.
Olson, aye. Kim? Kim, aye. McCarty? Santiago? Thurmond? Weber? Weber, aye.
4-0, the bill is out. Great, thank you. I'm going to present a bill. And Ms. Olson, will you take the chair?
Which bill are you wanting to present right now, Mr. Chair?
It is AB
Thanks, Tanya.
2350, AB 2350.
Okay, great. Item 22, please present.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'd like to start by accepting the amendments recommended by the very capable committee staff. AB 2350 addresses the achievement gap between English language learners and their peers by, number one, requiring that English language learners have access to core curriculum courses, and, number two, providing professional development for teachers on our new English language learner development standards. The achievement gap between English language learners and their peers is one of the biggest challenges in our public education system. I can tell you that because I lived it. California's English language learner students score substantially lower on state assessments than non-English language learner students and graduate from high school at lower rates. This achievement gap has actually grown over time, and the early results from the SBAC assessment suggest that the gap may be widening even further. But in some key ways, this achievement gap is really an opportunity gap. The recent research has shown that some English language learners have limited opportunity to take core curriculum courses necessary for academic success and ultimately graduation. In fact, this research found that in some places, up to a third of English language learners were not enrolled in English language arts classes, and a third were not carrying a full course load. Another barrier is the lack of training for teachers on new methods of English language development. Many English language learners don't have the opportunity to benefit from the most up-to-date methods of English instruction. AB 2350 addresses these barriers. This bill requires that English language learners have access to core curriculum courses necessary for graduation and admission to UC and CSU. It requires that courses designed for long-term English language learners confer credit toward graduation. And it requires the California Department of Education to develop a key resource for schools, professional development on our new groundbreaking English language development standards, in particular our integrated and designated model of ELD instruction. In support today, I have the co-sponsors of the bill, Shelley Spiegel-Coleman, representing Californians Together, and Sue Vang, representing the Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Witnesses in support.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson and committee members. I'm Shelley Spiegel-Coleman. I'm the Executive Director of Californians Together. We're a coalition of 25 parent, professional, and civil rights organizations focused on improving policy and practice for English learners. We are pleased to be a co-sponsor of AB 2350. This legislation would produce two critical improvements to the education of English learners. AB 2350 requires access to a full curriculum for elementary school students, courses leading to middle school matriculation, and graduation and college credit for high school students. No longer would English learners be denied enrollment in these courses because of misplacement in intervention programs not designed for English learners, and for English learners, including long-term English learners, receiving needed English language development instruction. AB 2350 gives flexibilities to schools and districts to determine how they can best provide this access. But it is now clear that English language proficiency should not prevent access to a full curriculum. The second important issue is that it reinforces the implementation of research-based and standards-aligned program and practices for English language development as called for in California's English Language Arts English Language Development Framework. But supports for teachers and administrators are critical if they are to develop the capacity to deliver both integrated and designated English language development instruction. This bill requires the development of video modules to be able to see quality exemplars of such instruction that can voluntarily be used by schools and districts to support professional development for educators in this critical area. These provisions of this bill make it clear that being an English learner requires high-quality instruction to learn English, as well as curriculum and courses leading to the same college and career readiness that we expect and require for all of California's students. We hope that each of you will vote yes on AB 2350. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Good afternoon. Sue Vang on behalf of State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Torlakson, co-sponsor of this bill. First, I'd like to thank Assemblymember O'Donnell for sponsoring this, authoring this important legislation for our English learners. As we know, English learners face the unique challenge of learning English in addition to grade-level content. To support the success of English learners, as Shelley had mentioned, the state recently adopted the first of its kind English Language Arts, English Language Development Framework to help meet the dual needs of English learners. And this bill would advance this effort, the effort that we've had in the state, by providing clear statutory guidance on designated and integrated ELD instruction in line with the new framework. I won't go into details since the two of you have already done that. AB 2350 really addresses three critical areas identified in the superintendent's action plan to transform our public schools, specifically implementing state standards, providing professional development for our teachers, and meeting and supporting the needs of our students. For these reasons, respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Are you speaking as well? No. Additional witnesses in support, please state your name and organization and whether you support.
Tanya Zacconi, California Language Teachers Association, support.
Jeff Vaca, representing Riverside County Schools, in support.
Elizabeth Gibbons, Los Angeles Unified School District, in strong support.
Martha Zaragoza Diaz, representing the California Association for Bilingual Education and support for all of the reasons given. Thank you.
Thank you. Any witnesses in opposition? Bring it to the committee. Any questions or comments from committee members? Do we have a motion? Great, we have a motion and a second. Would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is do pass with amendments to appropriations. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, I. Olson?
Aye.
Olson, I. Kim? Aye. Kim, I. McCarty? Aye. McCarty, I. Santiago? Aye. Santiago, I. Thurman? Weber? Weber, I.
Your bill is out 6-0. Thank you very much. And as the chair comes back up, it looks like we'll take Assemblyman Frazier next. This will be, I believe, AB 2306. Is that correct? Great. File item 19. File item 19.
You may proceed, Mr. Frazier.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. AB 2306 would require school districts to exempt a student from all coursework and other requirements that are in addition to the statewide graduation requirements once the student transfers from a juvenile court school. Excuse me. The credit exemption only applies to those who have completed the 10th grade. However, the exemption is not required if the district finds that the student is reasonably able to complete the additional requirements in time for graduation. AB 2306 also requires that the County Office of Education issue a diploma if the student completes the statewide graduation requirements while in juvenile court school. These students often fall through the cracks when it comes to high school graduation. A juvenile who has been incarcerated is 38% more likely to enter an adult prison by age 25. Additionally, 87% of court school students come from low socioeconomic backgrounds, and a high school diploma is their first hurdle to escape poverty. Providing these kids with diplomas will help decrease recidivism while also enabling them to continue their education by becoming eligible for federal financial aid. I do accept the committee's recommendation amendments to require districts to inform students of their rights and options should they be deemed ineligible for the credit exemption, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Your witnesses, Mr. Frazier.
Hello. I would like to thank the committee for your time today. My name is Catherine McCullough, and I'm a legal fellow at the Youth Law Center, and I'm testifying here today in support of AB 2306. The exemption that was just spoken about is an exemption that already applies to two populations of youth, homeless youth and foster youth. These populations of youth are youth who experience a lot of education instability, who maybe attend many different schools in different school districts, and also experience low education outcomes. Youth who experience time in court schools are also a population of youth who experience education instability and low education outcomes. AB 2306 would be a significant removal of a barrier for these court-involved youth, and for those reasons we ask for your aye vote today.
Thank you. Your next witness.
Hi, my name is Kathy Canaday, and I'm coming straight from the trenches. I am a retired teacher, teaching high school in Fairfield, California, and I was a special education teacher there. I am currently working as a substitute teacher in Yolo County. Over the years, I have had students who had been in juvenile hall placed in my classroom. Of my students over the years, I have 2 in jail for murder, 1 for attempted murder, 1 for prostitution, and I also lost 2 students to 2 women to murder, and 1 case is yet to be resolved. And I also had students who would return from juvenile hall, and my school accepted their credits from court school. What concerns me is that on any given day, every 10 male high school dropouts are in jail or in juvenile hall. For African Americans, it's 1 in 4. During my prime years of my career, I would see 1 year's graduating class drop after 4 years by 170, by 125, by 100. And I'd ask, where are these students going? And I never really got an answer. Mostly because they just gave up. The dropout rate is driving the nation's increasing prison population, so that's another one of our worries. It's estimated that society could save $210,000 in prisons and other costs for every potential dropout who could be helped to complete high school. Every American pays a cost when a young person leaves school without a diploma. I am here to support Assembly Bill 2306 because I feel that cutting the dropout rate would help tremendously. And all teenagers want fairness. If juveniles have worked diligently, then they deserve a diploma. The bill speaks fairness. I might add another way to stop the tide of high school dropouts is vocational education. This mantra of every student will go to college is not realistic. We need to bring back agriculture, foods. Just think what teaching foods and cooking would do to obesity. Metals, welding, auto shop, etc.
You could sum up, please.
I'm just about done, sir. Sometimes it is one teacher who makes the difference. I feel strongly that Assemblymember Jim Frazier's introduction of AB 2306 will lower the dropout rate and promote fairness for those in juvenile hall.
Thank you. Very well done. Any other witnesses in support?
Rebecca Gonzalez, National Association of Social Workers, California Chapter, in strong support.
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association, also in support.
Erin Evans on behalf of the Small School Districts Association, in support.
Pamela Gibbs, representing the Los Angeles County Office of Education, in support. We have at least 13 juvenile halls and camps throughout the county, and we think this would be very helpful for the 1,800 students we're serving. Thank you.
Thank you. Any witnesses in opposition? Great. Thank you, Mr. Frazier, for bringing this bill forward. I wonder if we should look at this for students who move after 10th grade under any circumstance, because I come from an area where students are highly transient. But today you're focused, and I'm very supportive of your effort today. But that's a conversation we can have down the road, I assume. Any members of the committee wish to comment? Seeing no comment from the committee, do we have a motion? It's moved and seconded. Mr. Santiago has seconded. You may close.
Just respectfully ask your aye vote.
Great, thank you. The motion is due pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson?
Aye.
Olson, aye. Kim?
Aye.
Kim, aye. McCarty? Aye. McCarty, aye. Santiago? Aye. Santiago, aye. Thurman? Weber? Aye. Weber, aye. 6-0.
6-0, the bill is out, Mr. Frazier. Thank you.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee members.
Patient Bill Dodd, come forward. Thank you for waiting. This is file item number 6. File item number 6, you may proceed when ready, Mr. Dodd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm presenting AB 1783 pertaining to making our children's school classrooms safer. In September 2014, the South Napa earthquake struck. The sergeant is passing out now pictures of earthquake-related damage in numerous classrooms throughout the Napa Valley Unified and other school districts throughout the county. While we have statutory standards, and in fact we do have the safest school buildings anywhere probably in the world with the Field Act, there are no requirements that keeping items inside schoolrooms from falling off the walls or collapsing and damaging or potentially hurting students, teachers, and other school personnel. Look carefully at these pictures and you will see bookshelves, file cabinets, dividers, and light fixtures that fell on desks and blocked doorways to classrooms. When a doorway is blocked, how would first responders gain access to the injured in these situations? 16 years ago, the legislature directed the state architect to develop guidelines to help make schools make the contents of schoolrooms in an earthquake safe. Few schools have paid attention and followed these guidelines in the ensuing years. In Napa Valley Unified, we were lucky that the earthquake struck when classes were not in session. In my mind, if children had been present, injuries and deaths would have surely occurred. The goal of AB 1783 is to get school districts to pay attention to the schoolroom content earthquake safety guidelines that already exist, and to fix the most serious classroom problems that are imminent threat to the safety of students and teachers. I fully understand that there are costs to inspect the classrooms and to brace the bookshelves or move them away from doorways, as well as the many other type of fixes that may be necessary. And I'm committed to working with the education community to minimize these costs. I've already made amendments to focus on the most serious problems and limit the bill to a single inspection. I'm happy to accept the additional suggested amendments in the analysis on pages 3 and 4, and I'd like to thank the committee staff for working so diligently with my staff and I on these amendments. But Mr. Chairman and members, when you look at what occurred in these classrooms, we have to take note and do something to protect the kids and teachers from these very serious hazards. School may be in session during the next earthquake, and we will sadly lament not acting if students are injured from unsafe schoolroom contents falling on their heads. With me today is Dawn Evans, a longtime Unified School District employee who can describe the destruction in his classrooms and the safety measures that the school district has taken since then.
Your witness, Mr. Dodd.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Don Evans. I've been a part of Napa Valley Unified for almost 38 years, both in maintenance and construction. I was up in the dark hours within minutes after the earthquake in August of 2014. What we found as the sun began to come up was alarming to us. Bill has described what you've seen by the pictures, what we found. We found rooms that we couldn't even get inside. We had to take pry bars to get the room doors open because things had fallen in their way. We don't believe Napa Valley Unified is much different than any other school district. We move along. Teachers bring things to classrooms, bookcases, etc., things that shouldn't be there, but they're there. As we looked at it, we began to feel a sense of concern, especially at the elementary, where the children are most liable to be hurt. In a kindergarten classroom, almost every kindergarten classroom in the state has little islands for these kids to be around, etc. We found those toppled over, which would have toppled over on the kids had school been in session. We felt concerned enough that we did what Assembly Bill 1783 is asking school districts to do. On our own, last summer, we went to every elementary school and went in every classroom, gave the teachers a guideline, clean your classrooms, and we're going to attach what we think is appropriate. This summer, we're going to be doing in our secondary schools because we feel they're just as vulnerable in some cases. In the science rooms, etc., we have even more potential harm in the way of young people. So we're working in that. We encourage you to do this. We know that if we had done this before the earthquake, we would have saved tens of thousands of dollars just in equipment alone that we lost, that we had to replace, some of which we never had the funds to replace, so the schools have had to do without. So we believe the preventive approach is the way to go, and we believe it's controllable. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next witness.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee for a chance to speak to you today. I'm Ryan Kirsting. I'm a California licensed structural engineer. I'm also the immediate past president of the board of SEOC, the Structural Engineers Association of California. I'm here today speaking on behalf of our 3,000 members who are engaged in the profession of structural engineering about the importance of today's bill. SEOC understands the importance of the public safety of school buildings, and we seek to, in particular, improve the seismic safety of buildings and the things we engage in. Seismic safety of school structures can be defined in terms of the performance of the structure itself, the non-structural components and equipment, as well as the contents and furnishings, and that's the focus of today's bill. So we're seeking to improve the safety of children by minimizing the risk associated with the contents and furnishings. The safe installation of these items, as Mr. Dodd mentioned, is generally outside the scope of the Field Act, is not something that's currently regulated by DSA or the State Building Code. However, structural engineers understand that these items still pose a risk to occupants, as we've witnessed in Napa and elsewhere. So this bill refers to a guide, as he mentioned, that's been written for an audience of non-engineers and provides simple conceptual details and instructions that can be easily followed. Once implemented, the small, simple steps required by this bill will go a long way to improve safety for the youngest Californians. Therefore, SEOC is supporting this bill moving forward, and we're asking for your consideration of support as well. Now, we can acknowledge that this bill seeks to address just a small portion of the seismic risks of California's public schools, the contents and furnishings. We know through studies done by AB 300 and others that the structural performance is something that's also a risk. And furthermore, the non-structural components and equipment that is also not covered by this bill is something that we ought to be addressing too. Needless to say, those items we hope will be coming up in front of this committee or elsewhere in the future, but at least this bill, AB 1783, is a step in the right direction. So with that, I think we'd like your consideration supporting the bills. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Tony Shapiro on behalf of the California Teachers Association. We go to State Council this week and we're recommending the support position. We believe it's a good investment in the future.
Thank you. Any others in support? Seeing none, any comment, any opposition? Any opposition? Seeing no opposition, any comments from any members of the committee? You're in opposition?
Nancy Chaitis Espinosa on behalf of the California School Boards Association. We had a supportive amended position, which thanks to the amendments that the author has accepted today, we are removing and going neutral on the bill.
Neutral?
Yes, sir. We wanted to thank the author and his staff and committee staff for all of their work in addressing our concerns.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, Ian Padilla with the Coalition for Adequate School Housing. We had a concern position, but of course the amendments that the author took addressed all those, and we very much appreciate that. We are also neutral. Thank you.
Elizabeth Munguio at the California Association of School Business Officials. We appreciate the author taking the amendments to help narrow the scope of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from any members of the committee? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Dodd, you may close. Thank you for this bill. The Field Act actually comes out of Long Beach. The 1933 earthquake in Long Beach comes out of.
And of course, this earthquake, happened in Napa most recently, but it can happen almost anywhere in California in all the districts that we all represent. So I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Great, thank you. The motion is due pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
O'Donnell.
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson.
Aye.
Olson, aye. Kim. Aye. Kim, aye. McCarty. Aye. McCarty, aye. Santiago. Aye. Santiago, aye. Thurman. Weber. Weber, aye. 6-0. It's out.
The bill is out 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. Appreciate it.